In Washington, the Senate is currently debating a massive Republican-backed budget reconciliation bill, with a marathon voting session set to begin Monday. The session, known as a vote-a-rama, will force senators into a long series of mandatory votes on various amendments before they can move to a final vote on the nearly 1,000-page megabill itself. Republicans are pushing hard to meet a July 4th deadline set by President Donald Trump. Over the weekend, the legislation cleared a critical procedural hurdle in a tight 51-49 vote, signaling the intense partisan division over the bill. The Senate has been in continuous session since Saturday morning, a period that included a 16-hour reading of the entire 940-page text, a delay tactic requested by Senate Democrats. However, the drama surrounding the bill extends beyond partisan lines, creating a significant fissure within the Republican Party. Two GOP senators broke ranks to vote against advancing the legislation: Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky and Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina. It was Senator Tillis's vote that drew a swift and sharp reaction from the White House, setting off a chain of events that has culminated in his political future. Following his vote against what President Trump has dubbed his Big Beautiful Bill, Tillis announced on Sunday that he will not seek re-election when his term ends in 2026. The North Carolina Republican, who was already considered one of the more vulnerable incumbents in the next cycle, cited the deep Medicaid cuts within the bill as the reason for his opposition. In his retirement statement, Tillis lamented the political climate, saying, "In Washington over the last few years, it's become increasingly evident that leaders who are willing to embrace bipartisanship, compromise, and demonstrate independent thinking are becoming an endangered species." He added that he faced a choice between his family and navigating the political theater and partisan gridlock, calling it not a hard choice. President Trump, however, saw the announcement not as a principled stand, but as a political victory. He took to his platform, Truth Social, to celebrate, posting, "Great news, Senator Thom Tillis will not be seeking re-election." Even before the retirement announcement, Trump had spent Saturday evening blasting Tillis as a grandstander and threatening to back a primary challenger against him. In one post, he stated, "Numerous people have come forward wanting to run in the primary against Senator Thom Tillis. I will be meeting with them over the coming weeks." The president also issued a broader warning to fiscally conservative Republicans who might oppose his agenda, writing, "For all cost-cutting Republicans, of which I am one, remember, you still have to get re-elected. Don't go too crazy. We will make it all up times 10, with growth more than ever before." The fallout from Tillis's decision has drawn reactions from across the political spectrum. Former Republican Senator Jeff Flake, a prominent Trump critic, suggested Tillis was forced out. Flake wrote that Tillis could win again, but only by taking positions he doesn't believe in. "It's an honor to serve in the Senate, but not at any cost." From the other side of the aisle, Senator Bernie Sanders was even more blunt, stating, "Trump's Republican Party does not allow for independent thought. The Republican Party today is a cult. Either you do as Trump wants, or you're out. Pathetic." This episode highlights the intense pressure for party conformity and the potential political consequences for those who defy the president's agenda. Away from the legislative drama on Capitol Hill, President Trump is signaling a potential adjustment to his administration's hardline immigration policies, specifically for workers in the agriculture and hospitality industries. In a recent interview, the president said his administration is working on a plan that could create a temporary pass for some immigrant workers who are in the country illegally. This potential solution would be aimed at individuals who have established long-term employment, are not involved in criminal activity, and are paying taxes. President Trump framed the issue as a balancing act, acknowledging his reputation as the strongest immigration guy that there's ever been, while also wanting to be the strongest farmers and hotels guy. He expressed a desire to support farmers who have long voiced concerns about labor shortages and the potential deportation of experienced workers. The president noted that some of the farm workers who could be affected have been in their roles for 15 to 20 years, describing them as good people who may have entered the country incorrectly. Under the potential plan, Trump suggested that farmers and other business owners in the hospitality sector could be given more authority in the process. He said, "What we're going to do is we're going to do something for farmers, where we can let the farmer sort of be in charge." The proposal represents an attempt to reconcile the administration's tough enforcement posture with the practical economic needs of key sectors that rely heavily on immigrant labor. While details remain sparse, the announcement suggests a pragmatic shift to address long-standing labor issues within these specific industries, even as the broader debate over mass deportation and border security continues. Turning now to education policy, charter schools across the United States are set to receive a significant financial boost from the federal government. The Department of Education has announced a $60 million funding increase for its charter school program, bringing the total federal support for these institutions to $500 million for the upcoming 2025-2026 academic year. This move is particularly noteworthy as it comes at a time when the Department of Education's overall budget is shrinking, indicating that the administration views charter schools as a key investment priority. Education Secretary Linda McMahon defended the increase during a recent Senate Appropriations Committee hearing, framing it as a wise use of taxpayer money. She pointed to data suggesting that charter schools are delivering strong results, telling the committee that, in most instances, they are outperforming their public schools in that area. The metrics cited often include higher scores in math and reading, as well as better college readiness assessments. However, the funding landscape for these alternative schools remains complex. Despite this new federal injection of funds, charter schools still operate with less public money on average than their traditional counterparts. According to recent figures, public funding for charter schools averages about $7,000 per student. This is approximately 30% less than what traditional public schools typically receive on a per-pupil basis. So while the $60 million increase is a substantial boost, it also highlights the ongoing financial disparities and the broader, often contentious debate over the role and funding of charter schools within the American education system.